gives me a great pleasure and honor to introduce a very special person who will be sharing with us his very curious journey. Dr.Belal Aldabbour is an assistant professor at the Neuroscience Department, Faculty of Medicine, Islamic University of Gaza. He graduated with honors in 2014, then worked as a research and teaching assistant at the faculty before moving to Jordan to specialize in neurology. He holds the Jordanian and Palestinian boards in adult neurology and is a member of the American Academy of Neurology. He is also active in research with over 10 research studies and 30 publications in his resume. Today, he will be sharing with us his presentation on the Incurious case of Belal Aldabbour. Ahlan wa sahlan. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak at this conference. As you see, I labeled my presentation as the Incurious case of Belal Aldabbour, as an allude to one of my favorite movies, but it truly is an incurious case. There's nothing extremely remarkable about my story. It's just that the extreme lack of opportunities to youth and young men like myself in Gaza is what makes me stand out from the crowd, which is the natural results of decades of conflict and instability and indisposition, which I hope this conference would be one step ahead towards securing more opportunities to youth and to future Palestinian generations. About myself, as I am 32 years old now, I work at the Faculty of Medicine of the Islamic University in Gaza as a research assistant professor and as a research staff. I am certified by the Jordanian and the Palestinian boards in neurology. I also have an academic degree from the Jordanian University of Science and Technology in neurology. I run two careers now, one as a clinician in the private sector. That's my afternoon life. And in the morning, I work as a teaching as an academician. I also am at head department at the Faculty of Medicine. So that's a lot of things going on. Actually, I lived the first 12 years of my life in Saudi Arabia, which I believe was a blessing. Not many Palestinians from my generation get to have the experiences that the cultural and the all sorts of experiences that one get to experience in the vast countries such as Saudi Arabia. Many young person in Gaza live and may even die without getting to ever witness a monsoon or see a waterfall or witness or see a high mountain. We just hear about it. We see it in National Geographic. And you can imagine the openings and the imagination, the potential that one gets from having such experiences, which is extremely different from just seeing or hearing about things on TV. Again, after 12, we moved to Gaza, where I lived as a mundane young man going to school. And that is until Tawjihi, which is the matriculation exam. It is an extremely important exam. One need to succeed and even score a very high score in order to be granted a seat at medical school, which I did. I scored 98.6%, which back then I ranked 11th overall in the Gaza Strip, and it secured me a seat at the Faculty of Medicine of the Islamic University of Gaza, which back then was at its infancy. I was the member of the third class overall. Back then, we were just 25 students in my class. Today, each class ranks between 120 to 140. You can see how the school grew up over the years between 2008 and 2022. These are my parents. During one of the celebrations at the Tawjih, you could see me holding a gift I received back then. In medical school, as I'm sure you're all aware of, it is an extremely busy part of every medical student's life. There are lots of exams, lots of study, lots of OSCEs, endless work, endless busy nights. And this is where I call on all of medical students in Gaza and elsewhere, do not let that be the only part of your life. Obviously, I didn't. During medical school, we started a youth team. We called it Ihya, which roughly translates to revival. We were a team of youth focused on recruiting those with in our age group who shared similar interests culturally, nationally, academically, and we worked together. You see that we had a good crowd back then. We worked together to creating local leaders who were well aware and well invested in their culture and in the national agenda, as we like to call it. So I had like two parallel life streams, one where I was an activist, another where I was a future doctor. And that is until 2014. That year where I graduated, I actually, as a member of the youth team, I made it to Al Jazeera, which is the most popular TV channel in the Arab countries. But in 2014, when I graduated, it coincided with the largest military conflict in Gaza in the history of the city, the 51-day war of 2014. Back then, I was doing my internship here at Shifa Hospital, which granted me an excellent opportunity to speak to the world about what was going on and also to participate in healthcare. So naturally, I appeared on lots of TV channels. Here is from TRT Turkey. Here is one from Democracy Now!, which is a very well-known online show in the United States. Here is from Sky News Arabia. And after the war, during the year after, I received my MD degree. So the war started few days after my last exam, and I was working as an intern without even having received my MD degree. Those were very hard times. After the war, I continued with my dual pathways. Here is a photo of me as an organizer of TEDx Shuja'iyya, which was the first TEDx event in Gaza. We named it Shuja'iyya because Shuja'iyya was one of the neighborhoods that lost lots of civilians during the 51-day conflict. At the same time, I contributed to a book. It was called Gaza Unsilenced. You can see my name here at the lower name of the list, among others, well-known figures such as Ramzi Baroud, Richard Falk, Hatem Kanane, Rashid Al-Khaldi, Diana Bhutto, all of whom are more known than myself. I was speaking about some of the sightings that I witnessed in Gaza, and I actually continued with that. I made it to Al Jazeera repeatedly, where I published humanitarian stories about Gaza, and all of that where I was being identified both as a doctor and as a journalist. Both. There's no shame in that, I believe. On the other hand, my medical career was going on. I worked as a teaching and research assistant at the Islamic University of Gaza. And the research part was very important. Before coming to that, it was a crossroad in my life where I needed to decide if I was going to pursue specialty abroad, such as in the United States, for example, doing the USMLE. And naturally, that would entail spending years, maybe decades of my coming life in the diaspora, or if I was going to pursue local opportunities or opportunities in neighboring Arab countries. Back then, there were extreme difficulties in travel. I thought that if I pursued the USMLE road, it would take me many years, and eventually I will live. I may succeed, but I will have to, after having spent all those years investing in this road, I will live abroad. And I feel that I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea of being not able to visit my parents in case of illness or anything, God forbid, due to the travel restrictions. That influenced my decision to pursue the other trajectory, which is to perform the IFOM exam and apply for local scholarships, which I did. And alhamdulillah, I scored 99 percentile in the IFOM exam, which granted me the opportunity to select the specialty that I desired, which was neurology. And that threw me to Jordan. Also, as a research assistant, I participated in the first research that I ever had to get a first-hand experience with research, which was with Dr. Bettina Butcher. She was a German-British with a Palestinian husband, and she was a very dedicated person. She got the best out of all of her German and British ancestries, as well as the Palestinian culture. She was very dedicated. She taught me a lot about research, and this is the publication that we did, which made it to light in a Q1 journal in 2018. And up until now, we have 11 citations on it. I'm very proud of this publication. Also, during that year, we conducted a second publication, which made it to the Lancet, but this one as a poster. And it opened my eyes a lot about research and about the lack of research in Palestine. There is a lot that we don't know about the regional and the local context of medical data in Palestine, which is necessary to guide medical interventions. And I kept that concept in mind in my mind when I moved to Jordan with my wife. Here's us when we arrived to Amman. We were happy. We made it out. It was a very difficult journey. And alhamdulillah, again, this was a lucky shot. I made it to neurology in Jordanian University of Science and Technology. My scholarship was sponsored by these guys here, the Jordanian Committee for the Support of Healthcare in Palestine, in Gaza Strip, I'm sorry. And she also got a scholarship in psychiatry in the same hospital, sponsored by IMED 2000. And this is not an ad for them. This is a shout out for the guys in IMED and the Jordanian scholarship because of all of their dedication and hard work. I'm not the only person who made it, and I'm not the only person who went back to Gaza. And I can see the extreme effort they do to provide donations to support young men like us who wish to study abroad. In Jordan, I also was lucky to have mentors who were interested in research. This is one of the very first posters that I presented in the Jordanian conference. This is me presenting another research during that same conference. This is me. One of my professors provided sponsorship for me to travel to Dubai, where I also presented another poster. These are very pleasant experiences and very welcome additions to my CV, which helped me with later steps. Actually, this is the same poster which I carried with me from Dubai, and I hung at the department in Jordan. I carried it back because I was too lazy. I didn't want to go and reprint it. So, to not speak a lot about this, here is my current status with research. I have more than 25 researches overall on my Google Scholar page, 47 citations, H index of 3. In my Scopus, I also have an H index of 3 and 25 Scopus citations, which I'm very proud of for a young man like myself. I'm aware that there are many younger Palestinians with more impressive pages. But again, these are the exceptions, they're not the rule, and that's why we're talking about this story today. Finally, what I want to talk about is my son. I didn't want him to go through the same stuff that all Palestinians in Gaza live through. I wanted him to witness what it means to get in a plane, what it means to see the monsoon, to see the waterfalls, etc. And that's why a large sum of my savings during all of my stay in Jordan went to having a 22-day journey to Malaysia, where we went throughout the country from north to south. I just wanted him to store a lot of pleasant memories before going back to Gaza, and hoping that those will help him and shape his character the same way my journeys in Saudi Arabia shaped mine. I wanted him to experience all sorts of experience. I took him to Bol, in the Indian Ocean. Finally, the final crossroad in my life was when I completed the Jordanian board. His study, a photo of me, a selfie I took when I left the final Oski station of the Jordanian board. Obviously, I was sleep deprived, but the most important decision back then was whether I wanted to go back to Gaza again or I want to pursue a life outside. And actually, I was accepted for fellowship in Canada, University of Alberta, for a stroke fellowship, which I decided to apologize and not accept for the time being due to many social, financial, cultural reasons. But I'm sure that I will have a second opportunity later on. But for the time being, I decided that whatever change I get to make in Gaza, it will be 10th time worth it than any change or any case, difficult case I diagnose or any research I publish outside. That's because this is my local, my cultural context. Those are my people. Those are the students that I want to teach to research, just as Dr. Bettina taught me. So that was one of the very important motives behind my decision to decline this fellowship. Now I'm back in Gaza. Here is me 1 month after coming back to Gaza, where I spoke at a local conference about medical education in Palestine. And here is me in the afternoon career as a doctor, where I'm sitting in the clinic. I have the nerve conduction device beside me, where I have diagnosed many difficult cases that I'm proud of. So in a nutshell, my journey was not remarkable, except for the context of having been achieved so much in Gaza. It was a mix of hard work, perseverance, and of course, luck, which the last third one, luck, is what we need, and the opportunities is what we need here in Gaza. Of course, you see here this Pentagon here talks about Rida al-Walidain, which is a very important thing here in our culture, to have your parents' prayers backing you up. Thank you very much. I hope I have not spoke too much.